The next thing we're going to do is add a handle. I'm going to be showing you how to do hollow handles. There's many ways you can make a handle. Hollow handles are really fun to make. You can get extremely creative with them. They're beautiful and they're a really cool thing to make. I spent a lot of time in college researching different ways to make hollow handles and how to make them beautiful. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to get a dog bone shape piece of clay and you're going to roll it and fold it. This paper pattern right here made that handle. And what I like about these hollow handles is how they go from thin to thick at the end, and I love the way the attachment is so beautiful, how it seems to grow right out of there and tapers and then gets wide again. So I think it makes a pretty attractive handle. It's comfortable, and because we're using slabs to roll this, it's a great opportunity to put some texture in here and make the glazes look interesting. So I'm going to show you how to do this. Now keep in mind that you do need to have a hole in here somewhere, otherwise it'll explode in the kiln. Mine has a little hole right there and that I left, and I didn't attach it right there. If you attach it all the way around, you're going to need to poke a hole in it somewhere so it doesn't explode in the kiln. But the key in having a good hollow handle is to start with soft clay and not make your your slab too thick. So I have some really fresh clay here and it's very soft, and I'm going to use a technique called throwing a slab to make it really thin. And throwing a slab is a time saver. Instead of going over to the slab roller and rolling on a slab or using a rolling pin, this will save you a lot of time, and if you get really good at it, you'll find that you rarely ever use the slab roller or a rolling pin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten this clay with my hand by pounding. And you want to flip it a lot. Flipping it releases it from the canvas. So pound, flip, flip. And now this is the fun part where we're going to stretch it. They call it throwing a slab because we're going to throw it against the table. And I like to think about it as a plane. If the back wheels of the plane land first, you're going to have a good landing. So you want to throw this so the back of the slab hits the table first. And then what will happen is it'll stick there slightly, and gravity will pull that and stretch it out. And you're going to end up with a really nice thin slab. So you can throw it in many different ways. You can throw it towards yourself, sideways. Notice how I'm flipping it. And this is going to begin to stretch this clay out. And I don't know why, but it does it really evenly and nicely. You can see how big this slab is getting. So a little tiny piece of clay is getting stretched way out. Okay, now my slab is about the right thickness. Boy, it's about the 1/16 of an inch, maybe a little bit thicker. And I'm going to add some texture to it. Now, texture is a really fun way to get some really cool patterns in your clay that'll be enhanced by the glaze. Now, a few places to get some texture: dollar store, thrift store, fabric. I went to the dollar store now and I got a bunch of different types of texture. I got some dishcloths, placemats, all different kinds of fun things. I'm going to use this one. I don't remember what this is for, but I'm going to put it on the top, and I'm going to take my rolling pin and I'm going to roll this, and it's going to make a really cool texture in our clay. Let's check it. Oh yeah, that's great. And I'm going to cut out this dog bone shape. Okay, when you put this together, I found it's not necessary to score and slip it. I'm just going to begin curling this. I'm going to try not to kink it or get any dents in it. And I'm going to use my fingers, just push that together right here. I don't know why they don't crack, they just don't. Okay, so that's going to be one end of the handle. This will be the wider end. And then I'm going to begin flattening it. I'm trying not to damage the texture at all. I really like it. But I do want to get this kind of flat down here, so when you put your fingers underneath it, oh, that's looking great. Now these little ends, you can splay them open to get them to form around the bottom of your cup. Because this clay is so soft, it's going to allow me to bend it any way I need to fit my cup. If you start to get cracks along here, that's a good indication that your clay is too dry and you need to find some softer clay. So I'm going to find a way to visually anchor this onto my cup so where it looks good. Now as I'm looking at it here, I'm thinking to myself, there might be a little bit too much pattern on this cup. It's a lot like wearing stripes with plaids. I have this pattern where I'm cutting sideways, and I have these polka dot patterns, and I have this pattern. So in my head right now I'm thinking this is too much pattern and I should find something that relates to this a little bit better. So I think I'm going to make a different handle before I attach this one on here. Okay, I made a new handle that didn't have so much pattern. This one is just a smooth handle, and I think this looks really good. And what I'm noticing here is I really like the way that this curved end here relates to the circle pattern I put on here. So I think that brings it together really nicely. And what I did was I looked for a place to give this as a visual anchor onto our pot. And when I carved it, I had made a line right here at the top of my carving. And then I'm putting it at the bottom of the dart, the top of the dart here. So that's going to visually anchor it. It gives it a place to come off and a place to end. So it's going to make the handle look like it belongs there. Not like it was just not thought about it and stuck on there. So I think this handle is going to work out really good. And to attach it is pretty simple. I'm just going to use my needle tool and I'm going to trace around the base of this where it needs to go. And I'm going to score it and attach it. Now because this clay is so soft, I don't need to score the handle part. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my finger, I'm going to get my finger a little bit wet, I'm going to push it into the slip and into the scoring marks, and that's going to really anchor this handle on. It's not going anywhere. So I'm getting my finger a little bit wet, I'm just going to come around here and I'm going to seal it on. Boy, I really like the way this looks. Got a nice tight seal. Okay, I'm going to come back and clean this up a little bit later, but I'm going to wait till it dries a little bit. It's very fragile right now, and I don't want to do any damage to it until it dries up a little bit. But I'm really happy with the way this handle looks good, or turned out. I think it looks really good. I'm just going to go ahead and again smooth it up a little bit more, but I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. I think it's going to be nice to hold on to, and I love the way it goes from thick to thin back to thick again. Here are our finished 3 cups, and you can see that I made a different style handle on the middle one. That's called a pulled handle. I'm going to make a new video on that one. That's a whole nother class, period. So if you're interested in learning that, I'm going to make another video on how to do that. But these are the handles that we did with the hollow handles. I think they turned out really nice. I'm really happy with these cups, and I can't wait to see what you make now.